That's a bold move, Cotton. So, after Concord's failure, for people who don't know, Concord was supposed to be a crowning jewel for Sony Interactive, and 2 weeks after it was released, it was pulled from shelves. It was taken offline. You can't even play the game anymore because of how bad it was, of how poor the sales were. So, um, I believe it was what Firewalk Studios. I think they kind of, I don't think, if I remember, they didn't go out of business, but they were kind of close to. But Sony Interactive CEO says company plans to grow our live services segment despite Concord failure. Oh, well, if that's the case, you need to make sure that the game, whatever game or games that you choose to represent this service, are actually good. Concord took like 8 years. It took, I think, $800 million to make, and it was pulled 2 weeks after release. So, if you want to really grow your live service segment and all that, you're gonna have to make a better game. Uh, Concord 1, it failed because, hey, Potato Chan, and 2, no, Potato Chan, come here, baby, come on, no, come on, oh, come here, Fluff. Hello, Potato Chan. Hello. Look at that face. Say hello to everyone. Potato. Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, that feels good, huh? Mwah. It's so fluffy. Mwah. All right, go on. She doesn't really like being held, but she knows I respect her enough to not hold her for like 10 minutes. Um, Now what was I saying? Oh yeah, Concord 1, there are so many shooting, type like first person shooters, or like the whole, Overwatch style, where it's a bloated field. It's just everyone and their mother's trying to do it, and there was nothing about Concord that stuck out. I mean, apart from the terrible character designs, there was nothing about the game that screamed, "Hey, play me over Call of Duty or Overwatch or some other shooter." There was nothing. There's nothing. Um, but Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Herman Hulst doubled down on the company's goals to grow its live service segment despite a failure of a number of live service games this year, including Sony's own Concord and Warner Brothers Multiverse. Oh yeah, I forgot about Multiverse. That's the one that has like, it's basically like Super Smash Brothers, I think, right? But it's got like, you know, Superman and Shaggy and stuff like that. And if I remember, I think Shaggy also has like the whole meme thing going, like an Ultra Instinct Super Saiyan Shaggy of like, he only used 1% of his power. But yeah. So Multiverse and Suicide Squad kill the Justice League, which no one really wanted to play, to the point where they're like, "Oh, here you go. Here you go, guys. Here's the deluxe edition for like $5. It originally cost 100. Enjoy." And people are like, "No, no, I don't think I will." Um, In an interview with Japanese website Famitsu, Holst was asked, "How do you evaluate the recent achievements of the PS Studios and its current structure?" We don't. As part of his answer, Holst stated, "Oh, we also continue to grow our live services segment, and Helldivers 2 has been a great success. I mean, apparently it has at the Video Game Awards. It won a couple awards, didn't it? Um, In building a strong portfolio, the studio business group focuses on a rigorous selection of games that offer players a great experience. We also focus on expanding our IP and the new area in new areas such as the film version of Ghost of Tsushima, which is being produced by PlayStation's Productions. Oh boy. Uh, Holst was then asked to follow up specifically about Concord and Firewalk Studios and whether its failure affected its live service and mobile game strategies. On the other hand, Concord was discontinued in about 2 weeks, and the closure of the okay, so yeah, it was Neon Koi and Firewalk both actually closed. And I think I remember reading that. I couldn't remember if I read that it actually closed or I had read an article saying that they were talking about closing it. I mean, at the time I was doing so many articles about them, so I couldn't remember. I don't remember if it was actually if I did one that closed about talking about them closing. But yeah, that's how bad it was. So nowadays, when you hear people compare games to Concord, 2 weeks after release, the game gets pulled from online in stores. You can't even play the game anymore, and 2 studios are closed. That is how bad the game was. So that is why no matter what kind of genre game it is, it doesn't matter. It's still a video game. So people comparing like Dragon Age to Concord or, whatever, this is why, because the game was so bad that it caused two studios to close down. But then people are going to try to spin it like, oh, it was a great game and success. Apparently not. It closed down 2 studios. 2 studios, Neon Koi and Firewalk Studios, was announced. As the Corona disaster settles down, I assume the game business is undergoing rapid changes. Are there any changes in your strategy for live service games and mobile games as a result of these studios' closures? I don't know. Make better games. Sure, cinema. Holst responded, no. The game business is constantly changing due to a variety of factors, including technological advances, new genres, and new ways of playing games. There's also the new way of playing game, which is just not playing it. Where most of these games just end up like movies, and you're watching it more than you're playing it. Or you can just have like Concord, where no one's playing it at all, really, and it was a shooting game, like a team game and all that, and nope, no one's playing it. But we'll get to the numbers, I think, soon enough. The one thing that has not changed, however, is people's desires for a great entertainment experience. On the focus on games, and the focus on games continues to grow. But with that comes competition. Like many companies in the industry, we have to make changes to our business in order to solidify a more sustainable operating base. We will continue to focus on developing live service titles along with story-driven, single-player titles that our players demand. Okay. But, I mean, to be fair, Helldivers 2 is a really good game, apparently. A couple of awards, like I said, if I remember correctly. I think it was only a couple, but I do know they won something at some point. So I know it is, in fact, a good game. People really seem to like it. So, we are learning a lot as we build our ability to develop quality live service titles within SIE. Helldivers 2 has proven the potential of live service titles by attracting a large number of players through continuous content delivery. Furthermore, Holst noted that Sony and PlayStation will continue to release live service games across multiple platforms rather than making them exclusive. Since live service titles are released on multiple platforms, the key to success is how to attract new players and increase the number of players. Therefore, maintaining momentum at the time of release and broader player adoption are especially important in the live service sector. Single-player games are a key component of the PlayStation platform's appeal, and each title has a strategic sale period. While consoles remain our core business, expanding to PC and other platforms there's consoles and PC. What are we talking? Just like mobile? I mean, there's what else apart from PCs and consoles? You have phones, so you have mobile. So what other platforms are whatever? Another platforms will allow us to bring our games to a wider audience. Our priority is always to provide the best possible experiences for our players, and as part of that, we are promoting the integration of PSN accounts on PC. Helldivers 2 was extraordinarily successful for Arrowhead Game Studios and PlayStation. The game was listed in Steam's Platinum Bucket for top sellers in 2024. This means it was one of the top 12 top selling games based on gross revenue for the entire year. Oh, wow. Wow, that's a lot. Those are big peepee numbers. Bigger peepee numbers than Concord. Concord, very small like my peepee. Very small. Let's see. Furthermore, the game is 500, like, let's just say 500,000 or so. However, after a number of controversies, the player base began to slowly taper off and eventually hit a 24-hour low of 15,000 in September. Huh. However, with the release of Omens of Tyranny earlier this month, it's a significant number of players returned and has reached, so I mean, it's still doing good. It's not like huge numbers, but I mean, it's what you'd expect. As opposed to this, notice 697 at all time, almost 500,000. So, on the opposite end, as noted by Famitsu, Concord was shut down in less than 2 weeks, and then Sony announced it was closing Firewalk Studios about a month later. The game only hit an all-time peak of just 697 when it was released at the end of August. I mean, if they can continue to create games like Helldivers 2, they might be fine. But Concord just failed to appeal to people. It was a type of genre. It was a genre of game that just people are tired of seeing, or just they're like, oh well, there's other games that just do it better. The characters were uninspired and bland and just ugly as hell, and people were like, okay, well, not to mention, I don't think the advertising was really that great. That's one way to really get people in, is the marketing, but not very good. So 2 weeks closed down, and it closed down 2 studios. So if you want to talk about game failures, yeah, that is why people refer to failures, and bring up Concord, because it was bad. So anyway, as long as they continue to make good games like Helldivers 2, they should be fine. So they need to just continue making games that people actually want to play. Leave out the crap that people don't want, or the crap that people they know people don't want or are interested in, and just make a game that's fun. If you make a game that's fun, it'll be a money-making machine. Like, it'll make its own money. So, and that's all we've been saying, but nope. Because there are people out there who believe that everything needs to be infested with, political messaging and all that other crap, when, quite frankly, no one really cares about that. Like, 98% of gamers don't care. It's a very small percentage of people who want politics shoved into everything. And it's bringing down companies. Like, 2 companies brought down. So just make games that are fun. That's all you got to do. That's what games are for. They're for entertainment. That's why they're classified under entertainment. You don't go into a game to not be entertained. So just make a game that's fun for everyone. Market it really well to where people get hyped for it. And there you go. Just sit back and watch that game just shit out money for you. It's not that hard. Anyway, that's going to do for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.